What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I just finished watching the finale of WandaVision. For my reaction, you guys are going to have to see that under my YouTube memberships. That's right, you will have to be a member. If you are not a member, you will not be able to see my reaction to the last episode. I've got 2 levels of memberships over there if you want to see my reaction to this. Excuse me. Level 1 is for $2.99 a month. You're going to get priority replies from me, special polls, and live streams. Level 2 is for $4.99, and you're going to get everything that Level 1 has. Plus, you're going to get all of my reactions to shows like this, any movies that I've been watching, all of my uncut try not to laughs. So go over there and check that out. Now, you guys can spill it. I know a lot of you guys have been holding on to your comment in regards to each episode, and you guys have been so good to me throughout this whole season, and thank you guys for not spoiling it for me. I mean, I'm glad that nobody said anything. You guys just continue to encourage me to keep watching. It's gonna get better, and it did. Now I understand a little bit better when it comes to Doctor Strange. So in this episode, she is fighting Agatha. Agatha's a witch. Agatha called her out as a Scarlet Witch. So this episode, this finale was so emotional. Like, the emotions were all over the place for so many reasons. There were 2 end credit scenes. The second one I was kind of thrown off about. I didn't know. And I had to go back and look at it. But, man, all I kept thinking of was, is this going to end, or how is it going to end, or what's going to happen? Agatha is after her powers. Meanwhile, Vision is trying. So this, I guess he's the head of Sword or whatever, the one that wants all this vibranium. He made another Vision, but he's bad. Like, he's trying to fight the real Vision out here, or the Vision that we see. So they're going at it. Agatha and Wanda are going at it. We know that Monica found that basement, and of course, Wanda's so-called brother came and tried to keep her hostage, but that didn't work out too well. So this whole time, like, they're all just fighting each other, and at some point, Agatha is taking... Wanda does not... She has no idea what Agatha is talking to her about. She pulls out the Darkhold, which is the book with bad spells or whatever, and she's basically telling her, you're a Scarlet Witch. And Wanda's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have what you're saying. I don't do that. But apparently it's the Scarlet Witch was made, not born. So she was trained up to be that way. So at one point she's fighting with her, and she's like, well, let's see if you really aren't one. So Agatha takes, like, this I guess the trance off of everyone, and now everyone's looking at Wanda in their true self. Like, Dottie's real name is not Dottie, and she has a daughter that she hasn't seen because she's not part of the story. And there's a wife who has a husband that she hasn't seen, and this was so wild to see, and everybody was just looking at her like, what are you doing? And Wanda started getting frantic, and she just completely, like, her emotions just exploded again. And at this point, she's just telling everybody, just go, I'm gonna let you go, just leave. And her and Agatha are still completely going through it. They're still fighting with each other. And before she actually let them go, they were fighting, and she got so mad that it's almost like she started choking everybody at the same time. Like, that was crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna kill everybody. So she was like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, like, she let everybody breathe, and everybody was just like, just let us go. So she opened up whatever this thing that she had built, and she's like, go, get out of here, like go home type of thing. So when they were going out, the military people from Sword were coming in, and so much happened in this like so much happened. So she at one point put Agatha back on the stake to try to get to her. And, you know, when she was put at the stake, she actually killed all the other witches, including her mother. So when Wanda put her back there, she was getting ready to kill her. And then the dead witches kind of came to life and realized that Wanda was a Scarlet Witch. So at this point, she started to kind of form her, I guess, Scarlet Witch horn bandana type of thing. And she was like, oh my gosh, no, 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 no. And Agatha was just like, just give me your powers, just give me your powers. But then she exploded with her power, and that didn't work out. Excuse me. So, meanwhile, at some point, Vision and the new Vision, they're in the midst of fighting, but then they stop fighting at one point, and they're talking to each other. And he basically showed the new Vision. He was just like, your memories are really erased, because now it's like he's starting to he's starting to get him to understand what's going on with him. And now he kind of made him remember all of this stuff. And we saw a flashback of when Thanos did the snap, and I mean everything flashed back, and it was so crazy to see that again. And so now that we know that Wanda is the Scarlet Witch, and now that she knows that, now she's really going at it with Wanda. The kids get involved too. So now the military comes in as everyone's leaving out. They come in and they try to shoot her kids. Monica showed up. The kids have powers of their own. So Wanda said, you know what? You take care of the military. I'll be right back, or mommy will be right back. So the military comes in. They start shooting at the kids. Monica comes in with her superpowers, and she's just eating up all these bullets. And then at one point, one of the bullets passes her and gets to one of the boys, and the boy just kind of like holds it there and drops it. I didn't know the kid can do that. So now, oh, and then I forgot about the nerdy girl who was still in the van. She crashes into one of the cars and pins the head guy. So now he's in trouble. He ain't got nowhere to go. So now Wanda and Agatha are fighting. She's trying to take all of her powers. And at one point, she kind of like does this and disappears. Agatha doesn't know where she is. Meanwhile, this whole thing is happening with the boys, the military guys. And Agatha now just kind of ascends back down. And here comes Wanda behind her and literally takes or does something to her memory. So now they're going at it again. Now Vision comes down. He's protecting the boys while she's up in the air fighting Agatha. She's throwing everything she has at Agatha because Agatha wants all of her powers. And she's doing this stuff, and I'm like, she's doing something on purpose, but I didn't see, like, you can't really see what she's doing. I thought that she was kind of breaking the barriers still to kind of push her through. It's kind of not what she was doing. So at one point we see Vision try to help her, and she kind of blocks him from doing it. So she's throwing all of her powers to her, and she's like doing all this stuff, and Agatha's just eating it all up, thinking that she's taking all this in. And all of a sudden she tries to, you know, she balls up all of her powers, and she tells her basically like, all right, this is all I wanted type of thing. Wanda's up there in the sky looking like a shriveled up Superman. You know how Superman looked shriveled up when he was in the universe, in the basically in space. He was all shriveled up and sucked up. That's how she looked. So Agatha went to go throw something back at her, you know, some type of power, and it didn't work. And all of a sudden you see Wanda's face kind of forming back to normal. And then you see things are clearing up, and she set it up to where only she can use those powers. Agatha can't use her powers, just like Agatha did to her when Wanda showed up in the basement. So I was just like, oh shoot, now it's really about to go down. So she was like, oh no, 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 no. And Wanda just explodes with all her power. She's taken all of her power plus Agatha's power. And Agatha's like, you don't know what you're doing. She takes it all in. They both drop to the floor. Agatha's just like, you don't understand what you just did. You're going to need me. And she basically was just like, well, I don't know where to find you. I'm going to keep you as a nosy neighbor type of thing. So anyway, her and the kids are fine, but there's an understanding between her and Vision that this cannot stay this way. That this cannot be their home. This is going to be the end of them, right? So now the emotions start settling in. So they go home and they're tucking their kids in bed, and then they get up and you can see the emotion in their faces because you know that they've got to go. And so she turns around before they leave the kids' room and she's like, thank you for choosing me to be your mother or whatever, because she sees the glow outside the window. She knows it's coming. She knows it's going to wipe everything out. And in my head, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so emotional. This is so crazy to watch all this. And so now she's turning off all the lights. She kind of knows like this is it. So Vision comes behind and he turns on one of the lights and he was just like, you can't really say, you know, you can't walk away from somebody in the dark or something like that. And so anyway, they see that, you know, that whole thing that she had set up is now closing in on them. And they're standing there, they're talking to each other, and he's just like, you know I had to leave you once, but before I go, what am I? And she starts describing what he means to her. And, you know, she's like, well, say hello again. And he was just like, you know, you see him shedding a tear and she's kind of looking, and it was so emotional. I was like, oh my God, it was starting to get me. And I was just like, no, I can't cry. So then they're kissing each other, and she's just like kind of holding his face or whatever. And of course that thing comes through and he starts turning, and you know, he's like, I'll see you later or something, and he just goes and everything's gone. And you see her just standing in the middle of the foundation of what was supposed to be their home. Now she's walking away and everyone's kind of looking at her crazy. So she walks up to Monica and, you know, she basically says her goodbyes or whatever. So somebody comes up to Monica and was just like, Monica, they want you in the theater. She goes into the theater now. And she's followed in by, I guess, what looks like a detective who is not a detective. Now, apparently, whoever this is turns into something green. I'm not familiar with it. From what I understand, it has something to do with Captain Marvel, and I didn't watch that. I don't know anything about that. But she apparently says, I'm a friend of your mother's, or a friend of your mother sent me, and we heard that you were grounded and they want to meet with you or something like that. We don't know who that is, but I have found out that Monica is tied to Captain Marvel somehow, because I don't understand it. I've never seen it. And I didn't grow up with the comics or anything like that, so I don't know anything about it. Now, there's that. Okay, there's that. So now we see that, what was that, the first end credit scene? I think that was the first end credit scene. The second one, we see Wanda in the middle of nature. She's like in the middle of nowhere. There's mountains all around. You see her sitting on the stairs having tea or whatever. She walks in, and then in the back room, we see the Scarlet Witch version of her reading through the Darkhold. And right there, when I saw that, it started to make sense to me. I said, oh shoot, this is now, I understand now. There's now this connection that I can make between that and Doctor Strange. And apparently she becomes more powerful than Doctor Strange because she's reading all this stuff and she's kind of learning all this black magic and stuff. But then she hears her kids. Now her kids were supposed to be wiped out. So why is she hearing them again? So in my head, I'm like, maybe it's the multiverse. And there goes more connections to stuff. So I'm just like, okay, now I can start making connections and I can start, looking at things differently. So man, I love this series. I give this a 5 out of 5 toodles. Now I can go back, watch Doctor Strange again, or maybe even the multiverse of madness, and really sit there and say, okay, now I get it. You know what I mean? And a couple of you was like, oh, I can't wait till you're done watching because you're going to understand now how this time is in Doctor Strange. And this is why I love opening myself up to stuff, especially with the whole Marvel thing. Like, I love seeing how things connect. I'm so interested. Before, like, I didn't see myself interested in that type of stuff. Like, because I wasn't, I didn't grow up with comics and stuff like that. But now, seeing these movies and these series and seeing this backstories with this stuff, now I can kind of start, things just can start making more sense to me now. You know what I mean? So this was dope, you guys. This was pretty dope. Leave your comments down below. Let me know. Talk to me. I know you guys have been dying to say things to me, and you guys have tried so hard not to spoil it for me. Spill the beans. Let me know what you guys think. Give me your thoughts, your opinions, anything else that I may have missed. School me if you need to. Put it all down in the comments section down below. If you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel, hit like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified whenever I pop up on your feed. I'll see you guys later.